Rick Prokop, and welcome to Piano Power Lessons. We're going to continue on with the left hand today of Swans on the Lake, and since there isn't a lot going on there, we'll probably also put the hands together. Now, if you look in the left hand, you see roots and fifths. Root, fifth of the C scale, or of the C triad, C, E, G. And that's because the melody has the third prominent, the E. So lots of E's in that first line. And since we want to have a consonant interval on the first beat, forming with that E each time, we use a C, which is the root of the C major triad, C, E, G, or we use the fifth, G, of the C major triad. So as a result, we get a pleasant sounding interval here, C to E, which is a tenth, or a major third blown out an octave, or a major sixth, G to E. And as discussed in prior lessons, the reason for having consonant intervals on the downbeats is because if we want to flip over the counterpoint, say if we want to put this melody above this melody, the 10th, the CE, if I put the C up here now and the G up here, they'll still sound good. So if I have the C above this E, I have a sixth. And if I have the G above this E now, way up here, I have a tenth, and both being consonant. And this practice continues throughout the piece, well, throughout the A section. Here you have a sixth, and then another sixth. So those are all sixths, and when inverted, you'll have a tenth and another tenth. So if the melody was different, let's say the melody began on a C and did C, D, E, C, D, E, C, D, E, C, D, E, D. So in that case, I would introduce some E's in the left hand that would harmonize with the C. So I might do something like this: E in the left, then a G, then another E, and then a C maybe. And then go on my way. Now in the B section up here, we're playing around a G7th chord for the first two bars. So that's G, B, D, and F, and we have the G, the root, the fifth is here, the D, and the seventh is here. So one might argue, well, why didn't John Thompson put a B in there somewhere? So we'd have something like this. In other words, G, here's the B, which harmonizes nicely with that D and brings us very nicely and powerfully back up to this C. And the reason is that John Thompson decided to restrict himself to using just 5 notes, C, D, E, F, G, in both the left hands and the right hands for a lot of the pieces in this first book. Another question that you might ask is, why isn't this E up here harmonized with a G like it was over here? And the reason is the left hand wouldn't sound as melodic. So I'll play it for you with a G instead of an E, and I'll just bring you down to here. Okay, now here's as written with the E. So now we hear a little melody happening in the left hand, which is much more interesting then. So let's look down at the keyboard now and see how we're going to play the left hand and then the hands together. All right, let's try the left hand alone on 76. 1, 2, 3. Bounce, always bouncing, bounce, bounce. And this is a nice sound that you're getting, speaking sound, MF. This is number 4 in volume. Now we do the same thing a little less volume. Level 3, always bouncing. Come down, 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 down. Now really softly. Now a little louder. All right, now we're going to put the hands together without the metronome on. So we're going to begin with C, E, pinky, and third finger. And then we're just going to go from the first to the second measure and stop to this major 6th. Let's do that again. Always bouncing. Both hands, both wrists are bouncing. Okay? Now let's go from that G, E, second measure to the third measure. So that would be back to the 10th. Try that again. Okay. Now we're going to try that whole first line. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here's the 6th. Back to the 10th. And the 6th. And that's the first line. Now let's go from that 4th measure, the last measure of the first line, to the first measure of the second line. 1, 2, so we have G, E, going to F, D. Let's do that again. Okay, now we're on the first measure of the second line. So let's go from that measure to the next measure of the second line. So we have F, D, going to go to an E, C. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Do that again. Okay, now we're on the second measure of the second line. We're going to go from an EC to an FD. But we're going to add some notes in the right hand. 1, 2, 3. C, E, G, and then FD. Again. Always bouncing, always making sure you're comfortable on all the fingers. Now we're at the third measure. Second line going to the last measure. So we're going to have an F, D going back to an EC. These are all parallel sixths. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's do that again. Now let's try that whole second line. So we're going to start here. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bounce, bounce. Both hands bouncing. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Okay, first 2 lines. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you'll practice, you'll do the identical thing 1 notch lower. That was MF, mezzo forte. Then we're going to do it, practice it at level 3. Okay, the B section, top of page 2. Practice GD and GD. So that just repeats naturally in the song. So just do that a couple of times. And then bring it to this 10th. Okay, once again, and this is loud. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, stop. Okay, then the next 2 measures. First practice that. So we have the 10th, going to the 2 middle fingers forming an octave. And then let's carry that through to the end. Okay, and then let's bring those 2 measures to the second line, and this is called subito pianissimo, suddenly pianissimo. You're blasting away there and suddenly there's nothing. Okay, second line, second page. We're playing at level 1 in volume. Let's just go to there. That's the 3rd measure. And now let's do the 3rd measure. It goes like this. So the 10th, this is root 3rd, goes to 3rd root. That's root 3rd interchange. And then up to this perfect 5th. Let's try that again. So this is the 2nd line, 3rd and 4th measures. Okay. All right, let's do the whole B section now. Ready? I'm going to start loud at level 5 and then come down to level 1. 1, 2, 3. Now we come to the final A section, which is at mezzo piano, level 2. Now, the last 2 measures, we have parallel 6. So we have F, D, G, E, F, D, and E, C. Try that again. F, D, G, E, F, D, and E, C. Okay. All right, let's let's try that last A section all the way through. 1, 2, 3. Okay, whole thing through from the beginning to the end. I have the metronome on 76. 1, 2, 3. A little less. Go. Just let go. Let go. Nothing. A little louder. I slowed down there at the end. Well, that should do it for today. Thanks again for joining me at Piano Power Lessons. Hope you have a great day and see you next time.